Good morning. Well, it's a great honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me and IMSS to join RAMSES. And it's a perfect continuation with Cedro just talked. And I think we be part of RAMSES. It's great collaboration with the society that I'm presenting, and I'm really happy that I'm not the only one this year, and I have my colleagues, and we are really, really happy to be part of RAMSES. So I'm going to talk about IMSS, which is International Microsurgical Simulation Society, and we are trying to create a microsurgical excellence around the world and around people who are not only doing microsurgery, but training microsurgeons to be excellent part of the surgical society. So we are very similar in spirits and organizations, and not much of the politics as well as RAMSES. And this is why these societies are really joining not only in bodies, but in spirits as well. And I'm going to talk about it, what we are, and what do we do, and what our goals are. So this is the last picture of IMSS. We are at Antalya, joining the European Federation of Societies of Microsurgery, and you can see the group. And I'm going to talk, well, this is the topic which Tom gave me, and I think it represents pretty much what we do, creating an excellence, which is quality of doing the best we could. And this is the spirit of the whole group of people who is educators in minds and good friends in souls. So IMSS is the society are very similar to RAMSES. And I'm going to just talk a few minutes of our history, which started, 2011 in London, with just a handful of us, with Ali Ghanem, Simon Myers, me, as Gisette, Sandra from, Gisette was from France, Sandra from London. This is the educators who are teaching microsurgery for many, many years, more than 30 years. And we just, as RAMSES, decided that it was a time to get together and have a society that that combine people with the same mind, who are very enthusiastic about education in microsurgery. And then when we somehow grew, we're not really very well organized economically or politically or financially. This is just a pure enthusiasm. We have no sponsors, we have really no membership, but we're together. And this is very important for us. And we'll see each other, I think we're just as soulmates in how we met in London, and we go from different parts of the world and we become bigger and bigger, sometimes smaller, but there are people who think and do the same thing all over the world. And you can see we travel from London to New York, to Singapore, to Mumbai, to Naples, to Antalya, to Arizona. Next year we're gonna hopefully meet in Seoul. And this is a very dynamic, enthusiastic, and very warm-hearted group of people who do microsurgery training. So this IMSS have roots because we all belongs to Society of Microsurgery, so we are joining the European Federations, World Society, and American Society. So we usually, our goals to evaluate and implement and share microsurgery around the communities with different specialties. So we usually go and have sessions and all of these meetings. This is how we meet. I'm going to talk a little bit more about US, about training in microsurgery in the United States, which I represent, and I've been teaching microsurgery. I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Yelana Akelina, who doesn't know me, and I teach microvascular surgery at Columbia University, New York, for the last 20 years. It's been a while. And microsurgery in US is not as popular as in Europe, but we do have a few courses, and they are pretty well established. So it's about 8 official courses in microsurgery, and you can see the states where they're conducted. So this is one of the probably well-known is my course, which is at Columbia University, New York. We have Mayo Clinic in Rochester, University of Indiana, University of Louisville, Moffitt Institute in San Francisco, Duke, Cleveland Clinic, University of Kentucky. So this is the courses that are known to me. Well, for the last meeting, for our consensus meeting in IMSS, I was talking about it. It's actually, I did the research and I actually tried to contact all of them to just establish some connections. I was surprised. So some people are very happy will see me and talk to me, and some people were not. So yeah, I was really actually very surprised. But anyway, but the people who are happy we joined forces, and we pretty much do very similar things around the US. And I did a little bit of the combined research and put together what we actually do. And this, you can see that we are, so we're teaching basic microsurgery courses, which is 40 hours. This is the centers that do that, and some of them teaching advanced courses. And most of us have 40 hours basic and advanced course, which is a weekly thing. So I put this little table together just for you guys to have. This is more just information sharing thing, because most of you are Europeans and you can see what the microsurgery training looks like in the US. It's just a very basic idea, who is teaching what and how many hours and how many people, students per instructor ratio, that we're pretty similar. So basically from 5, well, usually 4 to 1. So 4 students, 1 instructor. Tuition varies, but stays pretty much the same. What I was interested in to see who is doing what new and what are we implementing technology-wise in the courses. And I was interested to see what people are doing, especially in Mayo Clinic. It was pretty cool 3D system I'm gonna show you. We're using like flow meters, the blood flow meters to see the objective quality of the anastomosis. And people do different things. So this is us. This is my lab in Columbia, New York. And we only have 3 microscopes. It's pretty small and very unique course because it is really one-on-one training. And we do this every week, pretty much of the year. And that's what I was talking about, an innovation and assessment of the quality of anastomosis. We not only teach them, we also teach them how to assess the quality. And I'm using transonic flow meter, the machine that measures the flow before and after anastomosis. It's pretty quick, very objective and reliable for me, and works great for the students. So I have my interns who are doing this for every student, and it works pretty well. So they actually see how the anastomosis work. So not only I'm telling them it looks good, they actually can see it on the screen and it's working. In Mayo Clinic, Bill Eddings doing some pretty cool things with training system and 3D HD system. So he's actually doing demo, putting the glasses, 3D glasses, and he's doing anastomosis, and the students are watching him in 3D. That's pretty cool as an introduction for the anastomosis. So I have my videos for them. He does it himself in 3D. Well, he's lucky enough to have a sponsorship from Zeiss. I cannot ever afford this system. But he has it in his lab and it's working pretty well. So that's really cool. Most of the courses in the US, this is picture from Moffitt Institute, and they, most of us are doing pretty much subjective assessment of the quality. So basically we're looking how the anastomosis looks after. And we're doing some practical tests when we put students in a time limit and watch the quality by the eyes. And usually I have like a free tissue flap at the end of my course to assess the quality of my training. None of us in US are using GRS, which is Global Rating Score, to the assessment of the tools, which is very different than in Europe. But all of us, when I'm talking about US, and I know by my working with IMSS, we all have the same goal. So microsurgical training, we truly believe significantly improve quality of every surgeons who take our courses. The people who take the course becoming better surgeons, technically and emotionally and psychologically, and I'm pretty sure that they're becoming better for the patients in clinical practice. This is the whole goal of training in micro. IMSS is this, as I said, we're a small society, but we have big goals. And we're trying to be, to standardize the courses all over the world, because we are from about 20 countries, all 5 continents around the globe. And we try to do the assessment and consensus on something that we all do and do it together. And we started this in 2011 in Palermo. And then we did it all over the world in different societies, and we getting there slowly, but there was a progress. And this is what I'm not going to bore you with what we actually do, ask for the assessment and consensus, but this is what we tried a few times. It was 17 people from 5 continents with a lot of countries, and this is the questions that we tried to consent on. So GRS is a global rating score, and we were asking questions about short or long GRS and how the score should be graded the students, and we try to see if GRS will have an assessment of the quality of the vessel preparation, needle handling, time completing the course, and operative flow. We did and we did not get a consensus on some parts, and we're trying to do the IMSS, our society consensus, that we can publish it and we can have that as a standard for everybody. And this is what we got some results. So the basic micro course, we decided that it should be 1 microscope per trainee. It should be about 40 hours, about a week course. And the instruments, we're going to have the sutures, the training ratio. It looks like a very simple things, but it is important. So we can ask the people who are trying to do training courses that to keep these ideas in mind. And we're trying to also get a consensus of the simulation models, like in vitro versus in vivo, and have a different idea for the minimum standards and guidelines to create a foundation for the global residence microsurgery training, which is very important. If you go around, I travel a lot. I've seen people do microsurgical training all over the world, and they usually stick with the same ideas, but they're very various. So the idea was to have a standard courses like this. Vision of IMSS to have a global consensus of the microsurgical simulation and experimental training. So we basically do everyone very similar idea. So if the people coming from Singapore or Chile or Mumbai or from everybody else to train in the IMSS consent courses, we know the quality. So that was an idea. And our society goals also promote microsurgical education. The same as RAMSES. You guys promoting robotic training, robotic surgery. We are doing microsurgical education, which we truly believe increase the surgical training quality. So we are also traveling around the world, and we are sometimes small, sometimes big, but we are all over the place, and we've been in China and in Mumbai, and in Italy, and we in Greece and all over. We're also providing support for different training courses, and we are training people around the world together, with sometimes together, sometimes apart, but this is what we do. And I'm really happy to be part of RAMSES, and I'm really glad Simon and Gio and Ali is here as a part of IMSS, and we really promote excellence of microsurgical training together with RAMSES. And I'm really happy to be part of you, and thank you for inviting us, and I wish RAMSES a huge success. It's a beautiful setting, and I'm really happy to see you all. Thank you.